Hello, everybody, and welcome on this glorious Monday evening, March 20th, one day before spring. Welcome to Gabagalooza, the podcast.
I actually remember that this morning, that today's the last day of April.
Yeah, it's
April, the last day of winter.
It's great because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of winter.
Same.
But once again, welcome to Gabagalooza, the podcast, a variety stream, I guess you could say. A wonderful Monday here again with my co-host Murph Dog 108. I am Mr. Non-Clutch, Matt Anthony, and let's get right into it. I mean, we're back in.
As always.
We're back in the dungeon.
We are back in the dungeon in the
Right.
man cave.
Yes.
Man cave.
Yes, indeed.
Which is not my brother's room. I don't care what he says.
Yeah, screw you, right?
Speaking of which, the fact of the baseball memorabilia behind us.
Yeah.
World Baseball Classic is coming towards an end already.
It is.
We already have our first finalist.
Yeah.
Which was last night. Team USA destroyed.
They really
Team
did.
Cuba.
They really did put the beat down on them.
Mm-hmm.
All I could say is USA continues to go, and Trey Turner is Himothy. If you don't know what Himothy is, he is that guy.
He's the guy.
He is the guy.
The guy.
Yeah.
He's
No
he's
more
doing
Mike.
everything right.
No more Mike Trout. No more. Whatever. Okay. It is Trey Turner's show. All right. He hit that. He said it was the best hit. The biggest hit he's ever had in his life, and he's played in 40 plus postseason games.
Yeah.
I definitely think that hitting a home run like that, grand slam, to put your team ahead, the bottom of the 8th inning, that was huge.
Yeah.
They ended up winning the game because of that home run. And then last night, what does he do? He hits 2 more home runs.
Two more.
What are we doing? I mean,
he hit a grand slam too, right?
Yeah, the first game. I don't think he hit one last night. I believe he hit a solo shot and then possibly a 2 or 3 run home run.
Something like that.
But yeah, but given it's nice to see not just Mike Trout being Team USA, right? It's good to see everyone kind of pile in and contribute together. Mookie Betts, he's had a very good second round. I believe he's had 3 hits in each of the 2 games.
Yeah.
He's our leadoff guy, which sets the tone. I believe in both games he's had leadoff doubles.
Yeah.
In round 2, which is wild on its own, but having these guys be consistent is great, right?
Yeah, and one other guy that I feel like we haven't really been talking about, and we should be, that has had a good all-around World Baseball Classic is Goldschmidt.
Yeah, I wouldn't even just say Goldschmidt. His teammate Nolan Arenado has also had a pretty good.
He had the one flub with that ground ball in Arizona, but other than that, he's been solid. He's been putting the ball in play. He's literally just slapping his bat somehow.
Unfortunately, he ended up getting hurt, in last night's game. But it is what it is. And we talked about this a little bit. The WBC is great, but recently it's been receiving a lot of hate.
Yeah.
I would say it's basically due to the injuries of 2 of the better guys in the league. One of the best closers in the league, Edwin Diaz, goes down. He's done practically for the entire year. Maybe for the postseason he comes back, and then you had Jose Altuve get hurt, and then Freddie Freeman.
His hamstring. Yeah.
I get that. A lot of the major league players that are playing in the World Baseball Classic, they think that this is just as important as the playoffs and as the regular season is. Playing for your country, there's never a more, big atmosphere crowd like, those games in Miami. Like, they've been crazy. The Puerto Rico Dominican Republic game, that crowd was wild.
Yeah.
And
it means a lot to them.
It really does. And
you gotta think about it, like just the fact that because we as Americans get MLB literally every single season. We get the top tier best players in the world. We get to watch them 162 times every single year.
Yep.
And these other countries don't get to do that because they don't have that top tier, league, and most of the time they don't even have access to be able to even watch MLB baseball.
That's very true.
So this is the closest that they're gonna get, and they're gonna show their support for it.
Yeah,
because it just means so much to them, and I absolutely get it. I really do get it.
It is a shame, it's been great watching like playoff atmosphere baseball, right? And it's springtime. Spring training is going on right now. But I'm excited for the regular season to get on the way. I'm just ready for baseball to officially start.
Yeah, 10 more days to opening day.
10 more days.
T-minus 10 from today, and I just can't wait for it to actually start.
We get to watch our favorite teams play again. We get to see, the intriguing storylines come to an end, how the, rosters are going to be finalized, which rookies are going to make the cut, which guys aren't.
Yeah, how the rosters are going to be finalized.
Maybe somebody gets cut, when they're making the final roster, maybe a big name gets cut, who knows. Mm-hmm. But it's just going to be really exciting to just get baseball on a daily basis again.
Yeah.
We've kind of been getting it now because of the World Baseball Classic, but I will say regular season baseball, just being able to turn on, baseball every day and just being able to watch some game, and it's great.
For us, go to our favorite games.
Yeah.
Favorite teams' games.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to do that this year.
Absolutely. We're going to end up going to a bunch of Mets games, and we're going to end up going to a few Yankee games, Yankees, lower your tickets prices, please. And
lower your ticket prices, and we'll go more often.
I would go a ton often.
So we'll go, and I'm a Met fan, it's not because I'm a Met fan that we're going to more Met games. It's literally just because the ticket prices at Citi Field are just
they're way cheaper.
Way cheaper.
But, let's take this into consideration. Me and you, when we go to games, we like to sit upper deck right behind home plate. In the couple sections right behind home plate.
Yeah.
You could find 5 tickets. Citi Field in those areas for probably about $50 in total. Yankee Stadium, it's $50 a ticket.
Yeah. Even more, like 60.
And with fees and everything like that, it turns out to be 60.
Yeah.
So you gotta lower the prices. I mean, it's nice. Mets are able to get a crowd every day. They're making that money back.
Yeah, they're making that money back. They're adding new additions to the ballpark. They got the new jumbotrons and everything,
which I'm very excited to see.
They got the new easily accessible fan area in right field that they had to move the wall 8 feet in for.
They moved it 8 feet.
8 feet. Yep. 8 feet.
Okay.
In. That corner was originally 330, so now it's 322.
Wow.
Around that area.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a
short porch right field.
Left fielder or right lefties are gonna just pull that ball and bring it home.
Honestly, how long have we been talking? The debate, in our friend group for years, it was the Mets Yankees things, fields always being so small at Yankee Stadium, but I think it's a good thing. We always talked about, possibly raising, bringing in the fields of Citi Field and,
Yeah, we've been talking about this literally since the beginning because 2009, when the stadium was first built, it was a huge ballpark.
It was massive. I mean, left field, they didn't even have that second extension because the prior season, they had to add it because they were like, yeah, it's way too far.
Yeah, literally, you're getting fly balls in the left field that are at the warning track every time, and instead of being flyouts, they're now home runs, and they were checking the analytics in other ballparks. It was out of probably 28 different ballparks. It was just too big, and
it was.
It was the wall. Not to mention the walls were 16 feet high. They literally nicknamed it the Great Wall of Flushing. That's how big those walls were.
Yeah, that's right.
In left field, and then right center was deep as well. It was 415 to right center field. So literally all those balls that were just dunked into that little Death Valley out there. It's now home.
Now that I think about it, didn't right field, the second deck, what used to be the Pepsi porch, didn't it have a little bit of overhang? On the field?
It did have overhang over the field.
Now it won't.
But now it won't. Now it will be totally...
which is nice.
Which is nice. It is very, very nice. And also it's nice for the people in the Pepsi porch that can be able to actually see more of the field now. They'll be able to see the fielder
absolutely.
In right field instead of being cut off.
Yeah.
So, and also the fans, there'll be more fans being able to sit in right field, be able to get a home run ball now.
Yeah.
Underneath the Pepsi porch.
Yes, so, because beforehand it was if it was hit there and it wasn't on a live drive, it was going, on the porch.
It was either hitting the stanchion overhang or literally into the, Coca-Cola corner, as it's called now. So it makes sense for them to be moving in the walls because they made the stadium way too big when they started. They really thought that that 2008 team, 2007-6 team would stay home run hitting teams, and that team just faltered in 2009, and they did not have anybody hit over 10 home runs the entire season. So
I mean, but hey,
makes sense.
Times are different. You have somebody on your team who could lead the league in home runs every year.
Yep.
So it's a nice little change, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got
even with that moving, the stadium's still bigger than Yankee Stadium.
It's true.
It's still bigger.
Look, it's absolutely true. But it's a double-edged sword for the Yankees because 9 out of 10 Yankees pitchers in the past have always had a problem with the long ball. And it's always at home because the field is so small.
Yep.
But we've always had power hitting guys in our lineup more than contact average guys. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense to do that. We'll be able to score more runs, like that. But it's a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett Cole, gives up the long ball. Carlos Rodon has given up the long ball. And coming in the Yankee Stadium, it's going to be one thing I feel like is really going to hurt them.
And that was the problem with the Mets before they moved in the walls was our pitchers were giving up way too many home runs.
Yeah.
And we weren't hitting any.
Yeah.
So it was just so uneven. And then when we finally moved those walls in, it was starting to get more even.
Yeah. Which is nice.
Yeah, which is nice. So there is no particular reason to move in the walls because of home runs. It's literally just because Steve Cohen wanted a better attraction
area
for fans to be able to access to, not just because if they have like a VIP pass or like a club pass to get into. So now you can do that.
I got no bitches, moans, or gripes with Papa Steve. Okay, None of them.
He's turning that stadium into a freaking spaceship, man, and I love it.
He's turning the Mets into a super team around the world.
Yep. He's showing up to these owners that you have the money. Go spend it instead of just sitting there and put a thumb up your ass and doing nothing.
I would like to bring this up, real quick. So we're talking about money here. The Mets, they went out and they spent a bunch of money. Steve Cohen spent a bunch of money. Should there be something in the league where there should be a minimum salary for teams where they have to meet a certain threshold of spending money so your team can at least stay somewhat, mainstream or somewhat prioritized. It's your team's still there. Not like the Oakland Athletics who don't do anything ever.
So I would say right now, no, because Steve Cohen's the only one that's spending all the money.
But I'm saying for the teams.
But for
the lower teams.
I would say are you saying there's like a
there should be
like a somewhat of a money line where they should spend enough money to be able to reach a certain standard?
I feel like every team should have to reach a certain money line standard for their salary, for their team salary, their payroll, right? Because at least at that point you have to hire some guys, you have to sign some guys, to meet that threshold. Teams like the Oakland Athletics will probably still, abuse the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Right? But at least at that point, they might not have a team full of nobodies. They might have Matt Chapman still. They might have Sean Murphy. But I feel like there should be, because the bottom of the league teams, they don't sign anybody. They hardly spend money, which is, it's fair. It's a business. But to get the game going a little bit more, to draw attraction more, Oakland has 5,000 people in the stadium for a game on average.
Yeah.
And
not even 4,000.
And, we go to Citi Field where there's at least 38,000 people in the stands every game.
Now, if you went back in the day when the Mets were terrible, we averaged 10,000 people a game.
That's still
way more than the Oakland Athletics
doubled.
Now.
Still doubled.
It's still double than what they have because their home attendance is dreadful.
And it's really sad because I either feel like the MLB really has to do something with Oakland, because I really feel like they either need to force the team to move out of Oakland, or they need to force the management to force the owner to sell the team.
Yeah.
Because he's not doing anything that can. There's got to be normal jobs. They have like a checkup or a 6 week whatever, right, where you do like a progress report type of thing. If the owner over 5-10 years has done zero for their team and has made it way worse, shows zero motivation, zero signs of trying to make it better, and it still continues to go down, I feel like, the majority of the owners should be like, okay, get him out.
Yep.
Or Rob Manfred just be like, okay, I need you to sell the team. You're being forced to sell the team here. Unless you start spending a little bit more money, upgrade your ballpark, move ballparks, relocate, whatever. Do something. Yep. Something has to change.
Because I honestly would like the A's to stay.
Yeah.
Because like they're very classic.
I love their uniforms.
Team. They look great. I love green and gold. I'm partial to green and gold, as a Packers fan. So I love their look. But they're they need to get out of the Coliseum. It's such a
it's not even the Coliseum.
Holy crap.
I get the Coliseum. It has its its legends, right? But
it's so bad.
They either need to really revamp the stadium, or they need to get need to get them out of there.
Do what the Islanders did, and they revamped the Coliseum.
That
looked better than Oakland.
You just have to do something, because you hardly have any fans showing up. If you do something to the stadium, maybe at a sports club or something along that nature, right? If you don't have one now, or add an updated jumbotron, attractions, bring some
less concrete,
wet Oakland, homegrown food into the stadium.
Just
but
just something,
right?
To pique fans in.
Because at that point they would receive more money, and maybe at that point, if that's what the problem is, and just because they can't receive any money is why they're not spending it, you gotta do something.
I know.
You gotta do something. But going with the A's, I think with 10 days until opening day, we should do our standing predictions for the MLB.
Yes, we can.
So, what do we say? We start with the AL East here?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
From the top, work our way down to the bottom. Not saying that there's any bottom, but,
In the AL East, you got the Yankees, Blue Jays, Rays, Orioles, and Red Sox. The Red Sox are finishing last.
Yeah, they're not going to do it again this year. They're going to be another wash-up. It's going to be another rebuild year. They did add, which I love, Yoshida into the outfield.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that's going to be.
Yeah, what might come as a little bit of surprise, I think Tampa is going to finish in fourth. Okay. I think they're going to finish fourth in the division.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really do anything this offseason.
They really didn't do anything, but a team like the Orioles, rookies, really good.
I think the Orioles may be a 500 club this year.
I think that they're over 500 this year. I think that they're going to be over 500, whether it's a few games or, a couple games, right? Whatever. But I think they'll be above 500.
I think so, too. And, and then obviously looking at the Yankees and Blue Jays, I mean, it's hard to...
With the talent on both rosters.
It's tough to kind of justify whether the one's going to finish first or second.
Yep.
But, I don't know, man. I think the Blue Jays may just freaking go ham this year.
See, with the Blue Jays, I feel like they are the opposite of the Yankees. They have a terrible first half, and then they have a above average second half every year, and they always just miss the mark, or it's a wild card spot, and that's the only thing that they could ever hope for. Because, I mean, if they are able to stay healthy, if they are able to actually connect as a team, almost like what we're seeing with USA right now, right, in the last two games, them click as a team, then maybe I see them really pushing the Yankees. But for right now, I think that this is the Yankees' division to lose.
Yeah, I personally think that Toronto's just kind of not really run away with it. I think the Yankees will still give them a fight, but I think they'll be able to win.
You look at the last 2 or 3 years. You look at the Blue Jays roster. You think that they could win the World Series just on paper.
Yeah.
Because they have the names. They have the lineup. It's just, for some reason, it always falls out. People just have slumps or injuries or whatever. It's...
Yeah.
It is what it is, but...
you know what? I know what a big reason and what could possibly be a huge reason why the Blue Jays may be as successful this year is the new renovations that they did at the Rogers Center. to attract the fans. Because once they actually get a full crowd in that building, they are loud.
It is very loud in there when it
gets... man. They are loud. Packed. So loud. And that's what they were in the 2015 playoffs. And they almost made it to the World Series. They just lost to Kansas City, but Kansas City was, they were goated.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that, like, there will be more fans showing up to the ballpark to back them up.
Yeah.
And it helps them out a lot. And they're going to literally light a fire under their ass, and they're going to go for it. So, we'll say this for each division at the end of when we talk about them. We'll go, how many wins do you think each team will get?
All right, so if I'm going to go how many wins each team will get, I think the Yankees, with the rotation that they have, will break 100 games this year. Mm-hmm. I think they'll win probably about 101, 102. Not better, not too much better than last year. They won 99 last year.
Yeah.
Right? But I think that they, with the addition of Carlos Rodon, that's at least 3 extra games.
Yeah.
And with a healthy team at least.
Mm-hmm.
The Blue Jays, I got just about where they were last year, 92 wins. Mm-hmm. I think that's a good spot. If they can, like we were talking about earlier, if they could really connect, right, and play solid ball throughout the year, I see them high end 96, 97 wins. Yeah. Then the Orioles. They were above 500 last year.
They won 83.
But I'm going to say that they're going to win 87 games this year.
Okay.
They're going to be better.
Mm-hmm.
But how much better are they going to be?
Yeah.
That's going to be the question. Tampa. I'm going a solid 80.
Mm-hmm. I could agree with that.
I literally think they're going to be just under 500, right? But 80 wins. Red Sox, it's going to be another tough year. They really lost some key pieces. I mean, but the addition of, Yoshida, I like it. They re-signed Devers. I'll go 72 wins.
Mm-hmm.
I won't go too much lower than what they had last year at 78, but I think that's a good ballpark number.
Now, as for me, man, I mean, you may hate me for saying this. I think the Blue Jays are going to somehow win this division. I think they will get about 96 wins.
Okay.
But the Yankees are going to make it tight. I think the Yankees will get like 95 or get the 96, but either they don't do the 1-game playoff anymore, right?
If they're tied, it would come down to their...
Would it be run differential?
I believe it comes down to divisional record.
Divisional record?
Or it might come down to who has the better record between the teams.
Yeah, I mean, I would say...
I mean, against each other.
I would say either the Yankees get 95 or 96 and tie with Toronto. I think it's going to be super, super tight, but I think Toronto may just get the upper hand.
Okay.
And then Baltimore, I think Baltimore will get like 85. I think they'll get 85 wins this year.
Okay.
Not a whole lot more, but they'll get 85, and they'll only lose 77. And then for Tampa, I'll agree with you. 80 and 82, I can see that happening. And then for Boston, I'll give them the benefit of a doubt because I think some players will be helping them out a lot. I'd say 74 wins.
Okay.
Rather than 72. So.
Okay. We're around the same ballpark area. I would say the farthest one that we're at is probably on the Yankees.
Yeah. Because I don't know, they did add some new guys, but
their roster really isn't much different from last year.
It really isn't.
It's just with the addition of Rodon. Now, given last year we had a ton of injuries.
Yeah.
Benintendi was hurt for most of the September playoffs.
And you don't even have him now.
LeMahieu, right? He was hurt for practically the entire year. We have him healthy. Severino, given Montes is now not going to play this year, but I think that Severino is better than Montes regardless. Yeah. I still don't, like I said, I believe I said it on one of our first podcasts. I really don't think that they're going to do much better than last year because they really didn't change their team.
Yep.
They only really made one addition. If they were going to get rid of, one or two people and put up rookies, I might say at that point, okay, maybe we'll win a couple more this year. Because Josh Donaldson, Aaron Hicks, they suck.
They gotta go.
They gotta go.
They gotta go.
Look, as a Yankee fan, there's nothing more I would want than to get rid of Josh Donaldson. I would keep Aaron Hicks. It's an outfield piece. If anybody goes down, whatever. It's a switch bat. But holy moly, Josh Donaldson's got to go. All right, the AL Central. I'll let you go. I'll let you start it off with this.
Okay, so last year the standings went as Cleveland, the White Sox, Minnesota, Detroit, and Kansas City. I don't. Did Cleveland really get anybody?
I don't really think Cleveland changed, but
really changed
they had a really young roster last year.
They did have a very young roster. They did. I think they'll still be right around as successful as they did last year.
Yeah, I could agree.
But I will say though, I think the Twins may
take division.
May give them a run for their money because they added a bunch of guys and they're getting Byron Buxton back healthy. Hopefully he has a full freaking season because if he does, then the Twins will be unstoppable.
Yeah, absolutely. If he has a full season regardless, that's so many more runs added.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so many.
Yeah, Chicago, they got Benintendi. That's it, right?
Yeah, but they lost Jose Abreu.
They lost Jose Abreu. They lost Jose Abreu, damn. I don't really see much.
Is Lance Lynn still that guy? Giolito's, Giolito's at least, above average.
Yeah.
Dylan Cease is a good pitcher.
Dylan Cease is good. He's definitely their best pitcher.
They still have Michael Kopech, right?
He'll be coming back.
He'll be
at
coming
some point,
back.
because he had Tommy John last year.
Oh, that's right.
So he'll be coming back. He'll be out of the bullpen.
So, I do think that this division's going to be a little tight.
It's going to be tight. I think not as much success like last year. Because if you look at it, second place White Sox, they were at 581 wins.
Yeah.
So
continue with the rest of your list, though. I want to hear you out before I can give mine.
Detroit and Kansas City are going to probably fall in the same category as they did last year, 4 and 5th. I will say, though, at least Kansas City got Chapman, even though he's kind of washed up at this point. But he could do well against a really, compared to the AL East, a non-competitive division.
Yeah.
So he may be able to kind of be rejuvenated a little bit, but not by a whole lot. But as far as where placements go, I think Minnesota. They added a bunch of guys. And I don't know, personally, I think they will definitely be a second place team. They could win the division though, but Cleveland is just a really young and they're just a good ball club.
Yeah, and they have and this is an understatement. Terry Francona is a fantastic manager.
Yeah, he is.
He's a fantastic coach, and especially for the young guys, he really was able to lead that team last year.
Yeah. So look now going into what I think wins wise. For each team and where they're going to be placed. I think Cleveland may take the division again. I don't know if they'll win 92. They will win probably 90. They'll crack 90, 91. I'm not sure about 92, but I think that they can be around that category again. The Twins, however, I think they can win 85 games this year.
Okay.
Probably maybe no higher than that. Chicago will probably win 83. It'll be tight between Minnesota and the White Sox. I will say 84 for the White Sox, 83, maybe even 85. It will be back and forth all season with those two, and then Detroit and Kansas City. I think Kansas City will be a slightly better. I think they'll take 4th place and probably win 70, and then Detroit will probably take last and they'll probably take 68 wins.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with you, but I think it's going to be a little closer. I think the Guardians still win the division. Mm-hmm. But I honestly, if Byron Buxton is healthy the entire year, Minnesota wins the division. That will be my prediction. But
because he can run that team.
But he's the captain of that team. I don't really care what anybody says about Carlos Correa or anything else. He's the captain of that team.
Yep. If they have one.
But I think the Twins and the White Sox, I agree with you. I think they're going to be neck and neck all year. Right? the Twins are going to finish above the White Sox. And then I have Kansas City and then Detroit. I'm going to go 90 wins for Cleveland this year. I'm going to go 87 wins for the Twins, and I'm going to go 87 wins for the White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kansas City, I feel like, yes, they will win just about 70.
Yeah.
But Detroit, they won 66 last year. They really did not get any better. They did not sign anybody of importance.
No, they're in full on rebuild as they have been for the past 10 years.
Their young guys last year really didn't turn out to be the greatest. Tariq Skubal turned out to be pretty good. Riley Green turned out to be okay, but Torkelson's
such a letdown, man.
He was a huge disappointment last year. Everyone expecting him to blow up, starting on the opening day roster.
Yeah.
But
I remember watching that too.
Yeah,
he went like 0-4 that day.
I honestly think that Detroit could possibly be the
worst team in baseball.
I think that Detroit is going to be tied with the Athletics being the worst team in baseball.
Okay.
And we'll come to the AL West next, but I say that, Detroit will have just about 60 to 61 wins.
Okay.
So, the AL West. Honestly, man, I don't see this division changing anywhere.
I know. Looking at where they're placed, I think that's going to be exactly where they're at.
Yeah, I literally think so. Just for reference, Houston won the division with 106 wins last year. The Mariners finished with 90 wins in second place. Angels with 73, Rangers with 68, and Athletics with 60.
I will say those wins will change though.
Yes,
those
they
wins
will
not be what they are.
Yes,
for our prediction, at least for my prediction.
So I do. Can we both agree that the division stays the same?
Yeah,
as in ranking wise,
as in placements.
Okay, so let's go on the wins here.
Mm-hmm. Houston
wins the division.
Yep.
I say they win just about 101, 102 wins this year. They added, Jose Abreu, and they're gonna have Altuve out for a couple months, which I think is gonna, hurt them a little bit. But
then he'll come back and
they'll ramp up. The Mariners, I think that they're gonna win about 95 games this year, 95, 96 games.
Mm-hmm.
They're
good.
Yeah. And then the Angels, I don't think that they're going to be as much of a disappointment. I think Mike Trout stays healthier this year.
Yeah.
He's going to be there for a lot more games. Mike Trout has like a 10 WAR, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just go and say that they're going to win 85 games. The Rangers, they didn't do much besides the Grom.
Mm-hmm.
Am I
wrong?
But
that's going to help them a lot.
It's going to help them.
The wins that they had last year.
They're going to have more wins.
Yeah. But they'll stay in fourth place.
But I see them winning about 73 games.
Yeah, not really close to the Angels.
And then Athletics, I say just about 60, 61 games, just as Detroit.
Mm-hmm. All right, so for me, I think Houston, I agree with you. They're gonna crack 100 again, and they'll probably like 101. I'll say 101 for them. Maybe not 102, but it'll be somewhere around 100 and 101. Seattle, I absolutely agree with you. They're going to win 95 games this year. They're just so good, and they're just going to get better. They have such young talent on that team.
Yeah.
They're just a good ball club. And then the Angels, I agree. I will say probably 83, 84 wins, though, not 85.
Okay.
Just because of, I'm looking at I'm thinking of the rest of the team, and I'm like, maybe not 85. But hopefully for them, Trout and Ohtani are healthy the whole year.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, if those two guys are healthy, right, what other big additions did they make this offseason?
I forget. They actually did add... I feel like they added something.
I feel like they added a pitcher, and I feel like they added a bat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, though.
I want to check their roster.
Yeah, I mean, look,
I'm very intrigued.
My 85 wins is a big jump, but that's, I'm expecting people to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Right? And obviously it's not going to happen. People are going to get hurt, but I do think that they're going to win a lot more games than they did last year.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it doesn't really look like they added anybody pitching-wise. I mean, none of these names look unfamiliar to the team. They have Matt Moore. That's funny. But I mean, They have Brandon Drury, and he's going to be their third baseman over Rendon.
So then I feel like that is the guy that they signed.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that's who they signed was Brandon Drury. They still have Jared Walsh.
Yep.
Mickey Moniak, who is rising up. Hunter Renfroe.
Yes, Renfroe.
They got Hunter Renfroe. So their outfield is literally going to be Renfroe, Trout, and probably Tyler Ward. Either that or have him DH or Jared Walsh DH and put Jared Walsh. So the outfield for them, for me, looking at it, it's going to be Renfroe, Trout, and Ward. That's a solid outfield.
And
that will help them out.
Slow-mo, you're absolutely right. Renfroe pretty much is a Trout Jr.
He is a Trout Jr. He looks exactly like him.
So yeah.
So yeah, I'll agree. They'll be around 83, 85. And as for the Texas Rangers, you said 70?
I said 70.
I think they'll win like 73, 74. DeGrom will help them out a lot to get to that 74 tops.
Yeah.
Wins.
Yeah.
He will help them out for that. That's it. So I'll say a solid 73 wins from the Texas Rangers this year. And Oakland, honestly, I don't even think they'll crack 60. I think they'll get 59.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to crack 60. I don't think so.
All right. So, we're done with the AL.
Yes, we are.
So, on to the NL East.
Now, my prediction would be so much different than what it is right now because of the circumstances that we have fallen ourselves into. But
may I go first here?
You can go first.
So, you have, as of last year's standings, the Braves, 101 wins. The Mets, 101 wins. Phillies, 87 wins. Marlins, 69. And Washington with 55. This is flipping around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I have flipping, though, is the Phillies and Braves.
Okay.
I think the Mets just miss out on winning the division again. It is going to be such a tight race between the three of them. And when I say tight race, let me give you the wins here. I think the Phillies win 100 games. I think the Mets will win 99 or 98. Just missed the 100-game mark. And then I think the Braves will finish with the exact same record as the Mets once again. Then I have Miami. I think Miami got better. They will crack 70 this year. I'm thinking about 76 wins, I'm sorry. For Miami.
Yeah.
I think they got a little bit better. I think the young guys will get a little bit better. A little bit of surprise down there.
Mm-hmm.
The Nationals, I can't give them, I will. Shout out JoJo. 62 wins. They're going to be the third worst team this year, behind Oakland Athletics and Detroit.
Detroit, yeah.
So, Mr. Met fan.
So, my prediction would have been so much different last week if we did this. But because of the circumstances that we've had with some losses of players, it's going to be different. I agree with you, though. The Phillies will take this division, and they will win 100 games. They are stacked, and they are scary. They are going to dominate this division. They are going to run away with this division totally. I absolutely agree with you. That's exactly what's going to happen. But I will disagree with you with the Mets finishing second. They will not finish second place. The Braves will. The Braves will get 94 wins in second place. The Mets, however, not even close, in my opinion, to what you think that they're going to finish. But 99, I think they're only going to crack 90. 91.
See, given Diaz going down for the year, it's huge. It's such a big blow.
How many of these wins were because of Diaz?
It's true.
That's the only reason why I think the Mets will barely crack 90.
But your starting rotation is very good.
Yeah.
And
don't have Quintana until June.
Well, but having a good rotation, I feel like if those guys are able to get 6-7 innings a game, I think you guys still win because you guys are the best. I still think this. You guys are the best team at small ball. You guys are the best team in the league at just dink and dunk, base hits, double in the gap, a walk, sack fly. You guys drive in runs. You guys get on base.
And if everyone stays healthy like they did last
and
year,
if everyone
that's what will
stays
happen.
on base, and I'm sorry again, Mark Kanya, right? Kanya is going to be the secret weapon once again.
I think so too. I think he'll definitely be like one of the most underrated players in baseball.
Yeah.
Next year or this upcoming season in 10 days. But I'm sorry, man. I don't think the Mets will win over 91 games.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't think they will now because of Diaz being gone. Literally, that one player makes so much of a difference in that late part of the ball game. I think there's gonna be a lot of walk-offs.
So who do you think fills in the role of closer now?
I don't fucking know, man. I don't even know. I mean, we have Dave Robertson, who has been a closer in his past, but he's not. He's past his prime. He's not really much of a closer anymore. I mean, we used to have Seth Lugo. He could have filled in for that spot, but he's gone. Ottavino will probably end up being our closer, which I don't like. I think he's better as a setup man. He was way better. He was so much more successful as a setup man with the less stress of him being put as a closer in a ball game. Yeah. So I personally think it's not gonna be great having Ottavino as our closer. I personally just don't think it. Like, he didn't do well as a Yankee, and he was put in a lot of those situations over Chapman, and now he's gonna be thrown into that category with the Mets. Same New Yorkers in the stands. I don't know. I just don't really have high hopes for that. So that's just how I view it as a Met fan myself. But moving on from that, Miami. What did you say?
76 wins.
76. I'll give them 75. I'll give them 75. Maybe 76 as well. They'll be okay. They won't. Yeah. They won't be like a sub 70 win team next year.
I will say this though. If they finish 500, I will not be shocked.
Yeah.
I won't be shocked at all.
And I will say the Nationals will win 62.
I like it. All right. Second to last division, I'm sorry.
We're getting there.
All right, we'll go a little bit quicker with these ones, all right?
Yeah.
So, NL Central, we got the Cardinals finished with 93 wins. Brewers, 86. Cubs, 74. Reds, 62. And Pirates, 62. I think that there's only one flip-flop in this division, and I think it's the Cubs and the Brewers. But I don't think it's going to be that drastic of a flip-flop. I think that they're still going to be around the same amount of wins. I see the Cardinals winning about 93 games again.
Same.
I see the Cubs winning just about 85. Mm-hmm. I see the Brewers winning just about 83 to 85. The Reds and the Pirates, 65 games tops.
Yeah.
For both of them. The Pirates, they might be a little better.
I think the Pirates will be better.
They will lose more games if they get rid of Brian Reynolds.
Yeah.
They will lose more games.
They end up getting rid of Brian Reynolds. I will say if they keep Brian Reynolds, I think the Pirates will crack 70. I think they'll be better than the Reds.
I could see it.
I could see the Reds winning like 65, 67.
I could see it, but I really think that they're going to end up dealing him.
Yeah.
And
if Pirates end up dealing him, then they'll be
and he is, and hopefully, if there's big years, from O'Neal Cruz, Key Brian Hayes.
Yeah, that whole left side of the infield is pretty promising.
I mean, Michael Chavez, you got young guys that could, blow up, but, I really think if they keep Brian Reynolds, they'll be a much better team. Yeah, but absolutely. It really doesn't look like they're going to keep that way. Yeah, so what are you feeling for this, huh?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think St. Louis will win the same 93 wins this coming year, and I also agree the Cubs got better in the offseason, and they will be a better team, and I think they'll be slightly better than the Brewers. I think they will win 84, and the Brewers will win 83. And then, like I said, Pirates, if they keep Ryan Reynolds, they'll win 70. If not, then they'll win 65, and same thing with the Reds, they'll win 65.
Yep, I definitely think it's not too much of a difference in the division. I'm sorry. I just wanted to check something. The Ring app showed that Chocolate Lab was loose in the Wappingers. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't mine. All right. The NL West. Last year, you had the Dodgers finishing at the top of the division with 111 wins, most in the league. Padres, 89. Giants, 81. Diamondbacks, 74. And the Rockies, 68. I think the Padres win the division this year. I think that they win about 97 games. And I think that's on the high end. If they can stay healthy. The Dodgers, I see them win just about 95. But I could also see them on the low side winning just about 90. I think they're going to range between there. It's really going to depend on who can step up because they lost, Cody Bellinger, Trey Turner. Those are big pieces, Yep, I think those two switch. And I think it stays the same. I think, I think the Giants, I do think the Giants finish above 500. I think they have about 83 wins this year. The Diamondbacks, I really don't see them changing. I see just about 75, 74 wins. And then the Rockies, I'm going to say, hit 70.
All right. I will agree with you as well. The Padres will win the division. I will say I think they'll win 97, 98. They kind of scare me. They're going to be good. A lot of people are hating on them for some reason, thinking that they're not going to do it as good as I think they are, but I just think they are. I think they even, honestly, hell, they may even crack 100 wins this year.
They may. They really may.
I will give them a 97 to 100 range, but I will say 97 is a definite. 93, 99, 100 is pushing it a little bit, but I think they can get there. Dodgers, I'm the same as you. They'll win like 94, 95. They'll be close with the Padres. Yeah. It will be a close finish with the two.
They'll be a wild card. They'll be a wild card.
The Dodgers will be a wild card team, but the Padres will be out on top. San Fran, I think they'll stay the same. I think they'll win like 81, 82 games this year. Yeah. They didn't really add a lot, but they didn't really
no. I mean, I do like the addition of, and I'm not, Mitch Haniger. Mitch the bitch. That's a total joke, by the way. But I think the addition of him can be at least 2 or 3 games of,
Yeah. 2 or 3 game differential.
Yeah.
I'll say 82 for the Giants. And for Arizona, they'll stay the same. They'll win 75. And the Rockies, I'll agree, they'll win 70.
Yeah. I think with the Dodgers losing, a lot more games, the bottom teams will at least, pick it up a little bit with wins. And I think that they'll crack a little bit more.
But at least the divisional, games that they're going to play.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go, and those are our, baseball standings. Those are our predictions for this year. It may change. I'm sure that, into the season, towards the All-Star break, I'm sure that we'll end up doing another one, how the season will pan out, But, dude, man, time for some football news.
Football with your boy AP over
People, I had my phone in front of my face looking for NFL news all week. It's been another wild week of free agency. A little bit more big names getting signed this week, but there's some surprising moves that have been made. So let's go down the list. Lions sign, safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson to a 1-year deal. The Panthers signed Adam Thielen to a 3-year deal. I think that's a great addition. And they also added Miles Sanders to a 4-year deal. I think those are 2 good additions, to that offense. Patriots added tight end Mike Gesicki to a 1-year deal. Seahawks signed Julian Love, safety, to a 1-year deal. Eagles signed Marcus Mariota, backup quarterback, to a 1-year deal, and they also re-signed Darius Slay, who was, possible to be in trade talks or being released last week, but re-signs with the team for a 2-year deal. The Colts signed Gardner Minshew, the Eagles' backup quarterback from last year, to a 1-year deal. Dalton Schultz signs a 1-year deal with Texans. Bears signed Robert Tonyan, tight end from the Green Bay Packers, for a 1-year deal. And then we got a couple Giants signings here for wide receivers. Giants re-signed Darius Slayton to a 2-year deal. And they signed Colts wide receiver Paris Campbell to a 1-year deal. A loss for the Jets, which I think is division, is surprising, especially going to an interdivision rival. Braxton Berrios of the Jets going to Miami on a 1-year deal. The biggest free agent, left tackle Orlando Brown, the Bengals land him on a 4-year deal, highest paid left tackle until Laramie Tunsil re-signed with the Texans. Brandon Cooks was traded to the Cowboys, and our dear beloved First Swag Kazekage of the hidden village of the DM has left the Detroit city and gone to New Orleans on a 3-year deal. I think it's a great move for them. They kind of get, a good backup running back for Kamara. Yep. I think that's going to be a really good 1-2 punch for them.
And honestly, if Kamara plays like he did last year, Jamal Williams will be their starter.
Yes, he will. But those are, most of the moves that have happened this week. There have been a bunch of others, but those are more of the bigger names that have been signed. And, of course, next week we'll continue with any other free agent signings as well. But one depressing thing that, I can't stop overlooking is the Colts signed a quarterback, Gardner Minshew. Right now, he is our starting quarterback. We're the worst team in the league. Until we draft a rookie quarterback or make a big move at quarterback, we will be the worst team in the league. We have not filled any of the positions that we've needed to. We've only lost positions that we need to keep. It's going to be...
You've done nothing but lost everything.
It is going to be a very depressing offseason for the Colts. Until the draft comes, I feel like... Hopefully there's a signing or two that, I could get a little giddy about, but I don't see anything happening there. Some other depressing news that has been made official at this point. Wednesday last week, Aaron Rodgers went on the Pat McAfee show and stated his intentions are to play for the New York Jets next season. Now, we've talked about this on previous weeks, but I gotta ask you again. Now that's made official, now that it came from his mouth, how are you feeling known that it's official now, that he's going to end up being gone?
I knew it was going to happen. I don't feel any different than what I did before, and honestly, I like the Jets. They're my second favorite team, so, like, if I had to pick a second favorite team, it's the Jets, so I'm happy that they're actually, going to get a big-name quarterback. Yeah. Hopefully he doesn't turn out to be like a Brett Favre, where he only wins, 9 games, and they miss the playoffs, and interception after interception. But I mean, I like it, and they're, the Jets have shown that, hey, you want some guys on our team? Well, here's one, and there's Lazard.
Yeah, they signed Lazard.
They got Lazard, and so that literally shows, like, okay, these guys may be for real, and that does not happen in New York.
It's true.
I was talking to my dad about this. Stuff like that, where we're trying to get a big-name guy, and they're like, well, being a little bit, stucky up, like, oh, well, I mean, if this, if you got I would love to play with this guy and this, being prima donna, like, oh, I mean, if you get those guys, I want to play with those guys. If you don't, I ain't doing it. Yeah. But, like, the Jets were like, okay, here's one.
Yeah, and
it's a pretty good signing, too, because Lazard is very underrated.
Now, what's funny is on the Pat McAfee show, Rodgers said that he did supply a list of guys, but he didn't say you have to sign these guys or I'm not coming. It wasn't a, ultimatum. He just said that, yeah, these are great players. Of course I would want them on the team with me. Yep. Like, why wouldn't I? They're great locker room present. They're, great leaders on the team. I mean, I'm sorry. Alan Lazard isn't, one of those guys. Yeah, but not like... Randall Cobb, Mercedes Lewis are those guys. Yeah. And losing them for the Packers, if you do, is going to be huge for that locker room. Because who's the big veteran presence in the locker room at that point? Bakhtiari?
I mean, maybe A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones.
But A.J. Dillon's only been in the league for maybe 2-3 years.
Yeah, I mean, since 2019, I think.
And then Aaron Jones has only been in the league for about 5, which he is now considered a veteran, right? But Bakhtiari's, I guess, your longest tenured Packer at this point if Rodgers leaves.
Yeah, and a couple of other guys that are not really well known, but
yeah, I'm sure that some guys will end up stepping up, but losing those 2 guys, I feel like it's gonna hurt with
Alexander.
Jair, yeah, I could see Jair end up taking it.
Yeah, like he
Rashawn Gary too, maybe.
Oh yeah,
I forgot about Rashawn.
I think he probably him and Bakhtiari will be the top 2.
I think those guys will end up being the guys.
I think so too. And then Aaron Jones will probably get some kind of captaincy up in there, and probably also AJ Dillon, because I feel like that AJ and Jones have just such good chemistry with each other.
You know who I'm forgetting? Mason Crosby.
Well,
Crosby will be the presence, but
yeah,
he's not. He's really not that good anymore.
no,
he really kind of lost it the last 2 years.
He's lost the juice to power kick. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, unless he actually stays the whole year, I don't even know. Honestly, I thought he was done after this year, after the past year. I'll be honest with you, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, they're gonna run with Jordan Love. I'm optimistic to see what he does. I'm intrigued. I wouldn't say excited, but I'm intrigued to see what he does.
Well, hey, that's your NFL news for the week. And hockey, the NHL is approaching the end of their season.
It's approaching the end of the season. There is just about 10 games left.
Yeah, which isn't
around
a
like
lot.
10 to 12 for most teams.
Which really isn't a lot when you really think about it.
Yeah, no, it's crazy how close to the playoffs that they are. And another quick look around the league. Nothing has really changed in the Eastern Division or the Eastern Conference. Carolina, New Jersey, and the Rangers, who are red hot.
Yep.
They've been absolutely on a tear as of late, and they're creeping up on the New Jersey Devils and Carolina. So, I mean, if they just keep winning, man, and somehow, able to get around the Devils and, Hurricanes, they could possibly finish second or even first. Like, it could happen, Hurricanes and Devils have been kind of going back and forth recently. I will say the Rangers have been just on a tear, on a 4-game winning streak. They've won 7 in their last 10 games.
Yeah.
I mean, they've just been doing great. So I can see maybe some kind of a change. But it's still going to be those 3 teams.
Yeah.
In the top parts of the division. Bruins running away with it. Obviously, they've won 100. They've won 100 games. They've got 100 points this year. 111 now. I think last time we were talking.
And they just hit 100.
They just hit 100. And Toronto and Tampa Bay are behind them. Not even close to them. Second and third place, but that's going to stay the same. And then, wild card, the Islanders are still hanging on.
They're
to
hanging
the top
on there.
part, man. They got 80 points, 2 in front of the Penguins. Again, that's still going to be
hanging on by a thread.
Depending on what they do and what Pittsburgh does. They've been kind of even as of late. The Islanders have won 6 in their last 10. The Penguins have won 5. But the Penguins have lost 3 in a row. The Islanders have won 2. So if they can keep that going, they could have that stretch a little bit out of the distance between Pittsburgh and themselves. They could win that number 1 spot in that wild card.
Look what I do here. The Islanders are on thin ice.
They're on thin ice, if you want to be punny. And then Florida is right behind Pittsburgh, as always. 1 point behind. The Capitals are 4 points behind them. And again, Ottawa and Buffalo and Capitals can catch up to Florida at any point. But it's looking like that those top 3, Islanders, Pittsburgh, and Florida. Florida is going to be neck and neck with Pittsburgh. It's going to be one of those 2 teams. Yep. I think the Islanders will take the number 1 spot in the wild card, and Pittsburgh and Florida.
Well, that's
Florida's been on a tear
that's
as well.
A good thing coming from an Islanders fan. So.
Oh, yeah. We don't want to see the Penguins in the playoffs. And then Western Conference, not really much changed either. Dallas up in first in the Central Division with 89. Wild behind them with 88. I think the Wild will creep up and take that division, in my opinion. They both won 7 of their last 10 games. They're both on a 1-game winning streak, but I think that the Wild will take it. Avalanche are on a tear. They've won their last 5 in a row, 6 out of their last 10. And they are 2 points behind Minnesota. I still think that Colorado will still end up in 3rd place. Dallas in 2nd, just behind the Wild. But the Wild will take the Central Division. And Pacific, the Kings are freaking red hot as well. They are in 2nd, just behind 2 points of the Vegas Golden Knights now. Now Vegas is 8-2 in their last 10 games.
Okay.
Los Angeles has won 7. They've only lost 1 game. They had 2 overtime losses to help them out to get to 90 at this point. They had an overtime loss in the last part, so they got a point.
Okay.
In their last game. And I still think that division's going to stay the same. Edmonton's in 3rd. They got 86 points, but I'm willing to think, even though they've won their last 3 as well, and they've won 7 of the last 10, but I still think that Vegas is going to take number 1 in that division, Kings, and then the Oilers.
Okay.
As for the wild card, it's pretty much set in stone. The top 4 teams have chances to get in there. I will say Calgary has much more of a chance than Nashville, even though Nashville has done a little better than them. They won 5 of the last 10. Calgary's only won 4 of the last 10, but they have a point in their last game. And Seattle and Winnipeg, they're still up there. I will say Seattle will take the number 1 spot in the wild card just because even though they've lost their last game, they've still been 6 wins out of the last 10. And the Jets have only won 4 out of the last 10. So I will say Seattle, Winnipeg that's locked up.
Okay.
They're getting that wild card. That's going to be the number 1, 2 of the wild cards for the Western Conference. And that is my playoff picture.
Well, it's
for this NHL. 10 more games to go. 10 to 12 now.
This is make or break time for a lot of teams.
It's exciting to watch hockey. If you've never watched hockey before, I recommend you watch now, or at least wait until a couple weeks from now when the playoffs start.
Playoff hockey is electric.
It is absolutely astounding.
Now, something that's been going on, for a couple weeks now. March Madness,
yeah.
The tournaments are going for a little bit.
I
forgot. But yeah, I honestly forgot that the tournament honestly started.
Mm-hmm. It started on Thursday, and I remember I was in class, and like someone was talking about. I was like, "Oh my god, I forgot about that! I didn't even realize like any of the the placements. I didn't even follow that.
Yeah, I didn't follow either until my phone started blowing up with number 1s getting defeated.
Yep.
An upset. Yeah. Purdue, man. Virginia, geesh.
Furman, man. Furman.
Furman. I mean, come on.
Baylor.
Baylor.
Losing to Creighton.
Princeton.
In the Elite 8.
Like, Creighton, given, 6 seed.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's kind of spicy.
Dude.
Quick.
Dude, listen, man. They had defeated the number 2 Princeton, had defeated number 2 Arizona as the 15th seed, and then went on to defeat the number 7 Missouri. And by a boatload of points.
I mean,
they almost won by 20.
This is another one of those Cinderella stories. If they're able to win this week, if they're able to win this next game, and they get to the Final Four, it is a Cinderella story.
I will absolutely watch this Princeton Creighton game and rooting for Princeton.
Absolutely,
I would love, even though Creighton a 6th seed team, and that's the only 6-team seed in the Elite 8, anywhere close to that. San Diego's at the 5 seed playing Alabama, but that's the game I'm going to watch. Creighton against Princeton, and I will be a Princeton fan.
I'm definitely going to be a Princeton fan. Right? Absolutely.
Like, that excites me, man. Like,
I like rooting for the underdog in those situations.
I love rooting for underdogs. I really do. And then as the rest of the... Oh, there goes that. I got back to it. As the rest of the Elite 8 goes, we obviously said that Creighton is playing Princeton. Number 1, Alabama is going to be playing in the Elite 8 against number 5, San Diego. They had defeated number 12, Charleston, and then number 15, Furman. I will say they're going to have their work cut out for them against Alabama because they have absolutely destroyed the competition that has gone by them. And everyone thought that Alabama will get upset.
Yeah, it's true.
That didn't happen. Alabama is showing that they belong there.
Everyone thought that, Purdue was going to be the one that won, or, Virginia might have been the one that really pushed it, but... Both of them got eliminated.
Both of them got eliminated. And as for the other side, the Sweet 16 right now. Oh, then the Elite 8? Really? Are you sure about that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 teams.
We're in the Elite 8, people.
We're in the Elite 16. We're in the Elite 8. Yeah, I thought I was bugging. Yeah, the Elite 8, right? Am I not bugging?
Scroll down a little bit here. Is there another bracket?
There is another bracket.
There's another bracket, people.
There is another bracket.
Sweet 16.
Well, there's really the top bracket was just my number 1 thing looking at it.
Yeah.
Just because of the teams that were in it, especially, and I'm gonna continue with it. And Nick is right. It is the Sweet 16, not the Elite 8. But Houston, number 1, they didn't get knocked out, and they're gonna play number 5 Miami, who beat number 4 Indiana by a lot to get into to that 3rd round there. And then Xavier, number 3, is going to play Texas, number 2. And Texas, this is their first time in the Sweet 16 since 2003, I think.
Yes, it's been a long time.
Very long time for them. So it's cool to see them. I used to like Texas a lot, watching them in college basketball and baseball.
I
and
enjoyed
football.
I enjoyed watching them football.
Right. I like watching football. Colt McCoy,
Yeah,
before he became a bust.
Gonzaga's another team that's a little scary.
Yep. I mean, yeah. I mean, a lot of people predicted Gonzaga to.
Now they did have a very close game their last game, but they ended up they squeaked it out.
Yeah,
so
they won by 3 against number 6 TCU. So they are going to be playing number 2 UCLA, who is honestly I think another scary team. That's gonna be a good game. That's a game to watch right there, Gonzaga against UCLA. And then on the other side you got number 9 FAU. Number 9 FAU, who had who did they play before? They had played number 8 Memphis and beat them by 1, and then played 16 FDU, who had obviously upset Purdue and won by 8 against them. And they'll be playing number 4 Tennessee, who defeated Duke. They knocked out Duke.
Yeah.
Knocked out number 5 Duke. As that settles that for there. And then Kansas State will be playing Michigan State, number 3 and 7.
Okay.
Michigan State had defeated number 10 USC and number 2 Marquette. They beat them by 9. So they will be facing off against Kansas State, who had previously played Montana State and Kentucky. And then on the other side, obviously we talked about Gonzaga getting up there. They're number 3 seed against the number 2 UCLA. They had defeated the Grand Canyon and also barely TCU to get there. And then UCLA is in there as well. And then at the top is number 8 Arkansas against number 4 UConn. Nope, not the women's UConn, the men's UConn. And they will be facing off against each other in the Sweet 16. No, not the Elite 8. I am dumb and forgot that there's another bracket at the bottom.
It's okay, people. We hardly watch college basketball until March Madness.
And and both number 1 seeds in both that bottom bracket, Purdue and Kansas, gone.
Yep.
Arkansas was able to beat them by 1 point. Kansas.
It's craziness.
So it's craziness. It's really really good looking March Madness tournament we got going on here. So.
But it's time for our favorite segment, Ashley's outrageously random questions. This segment, we read questions from my wife, Ashley, who always has some very random questions, and out of nowhere, but, she writes, 10 questions down, one for the audience, where we will answer 10 questions to ourselves, and then we will ask one question to the audience, but we will also answer that ourselves. We expect, some input from the crowd, and from the audience. If you're watching this afterwards, please leave your input in the chat. We're definitely going to check the comments and see, all of your exciting, stories and, your answers to these questions. So, starting it off today with our 10 questions, Murph Dog. So excited.
Mm-hmm. As you can tell, I've left my questions on this bar the whole time. Any idea that we were doing it again. Unless you didn't see it.
I'll leave mine there.
So,
question number 1.
First question that I got in my pile that I picked up is, what is the difference between a cartoon and an anime?
Ooh, okay. So, now I'm not going to give you at least I'm not going to be able to give you the textbook definition, right, of why they're different. But I would say cartoons are more American-made and styled, while anime, it's more of a deep dive and, a little bit more, realistic, and, it really is a good question, because technically it could be considered a cartoon, but then you say, well, is Avatar The Last Airbender an anime or a cartoon? And, we would say that it's like an American anime, right? But then, Codename Kids Next Door, that's like a cartoon show, right? Ed, Edd and Eddy, cartoon show. I don't know, what you got for that?
So, I had to, look it up just so that I have my facts right. I knew this, though, previously. One big major reason, or one big major difference between American cartoons and Japanese anime is that American cartoons run at a higher refresh rate than anime.
That kind of makes sense.
The difference between the two is that anime runs at a slower frame rate than it does to American. Now, I will say, Japanese usually end up going more for the oil painting type backgrounds, more of the old-fashioned type backgrounds, and character styles. As where in America they really leapt to the digital age.
Yeah.
Even though Japan has gone to the digital age as well as every other anime now. But I will absolutely say a lot more things are hand drawn, like for the backgrounds rather than in America. Even like some of the I even just read it, like some of the frame rates could even drop to even 12 frames per second than the usual average of 24. And it's just the type of style, because sometimes during heated battles, they'll either A, rise up their refresh rate, or B, lower it, depending on how intense it is.
Interesting.
So that's, like, how I see it now, like, learning that, like, me literally, taking film classes and actually learning that now and knowing that that's pretty much that's a huge difference. Not the main, I would say that's the main difference, for me at least. But, if you, like from what I've learned, that's what they told me. So, in my brief, 1 day of animation class, they did say that usually American cartoons run around 25 to 30 frames, and Japanese are from 24 to 30, sometimes even lower than 24 to 20.
That's interesting. The more you know. All right. Question number 2. What is the best sport to watch on TV? Second question, best sport to watch in person?
All right, so my opinion, the best sport to watch on TV is le football, Americano football.
Yeah,
it's the best sport to watch on TV rather than be there. Now, I'm going to take this as, which is like, saying like looking at a sport and saying it's better to watch it than go to it, or go to it than watch it. I will say the NFL is way better to go to it.
Yes.
Or no, way better to watch it at home.
Yes.
Way better to watch than go to it. Especially even to the average football fan, like the casual football fan.
Yeah.
Watch it at home.
Yeah.
Don't go to a football game.
Absolutely. I would agree.
Yeah. The only reason why you should go to a football game is if you actually really know the game, or you just want to get plastered. Is the only reason why. Because otherwise you're going to be standing out there in the cold. Because the games run into November, December. It's going to not be a fun time for the casual fan. So I will absolutely say that. And going to games, I mean, I can watch both baseball and baseball on the field and watching TV, like at a stadium watching on TV, but go to a hockey game, man.
Yeah, I agree.
To a hockey game.
I agree. I think
it is so much fun.
Hockey
way better to watch in person than on TV. It is hard to track it, and I absolutely I will say this for the casual NHL fan. It's harder to follow it on TV than it is in person, because in person you see everything. You get to follow with your own vision rather than
it's true.
Fast vision of the what the camera can do. They're only going to be able to do so much because it's such a fast-paced game. So I will absolutely say hockey. Go to hockey game.
I definitely think that hockey is way more exciting to watch in person. Because I mean, it's almost like you get to really feel like the atmosphere. It's I hear a lot of gripes that it's really hard to track the puck on camera, right, when you're watching it on the TV, which I can understand to some extent, even though that they really just the camera pans on the puck, right, and that's their main focus. But I do think that it is way better to go and watch football on the TV than it is to watch hockey, and I think it's way better to go watch a hockey game than a football game. Football games are slow at times. In between quarters, TV breaks, you're literally just sitting there watching.
And a lot of the times, like when you're at a football game, they don't even tell you that they're going on a commercial break. They'll just stand there,
they
do
just
nothing, and
stand
then
there.
They'll do shit on the scoreboard or just play music, and you're like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, and it's literally like the teams literally just huddle around and shoot the shit. Yeah. It's literally like that's all they do during TV breaks, and they just sit there for 5 minutes. It's like, I mean, come on. Yeah. Come on.
I agree. Next question number 3. What is the last book you read?
Oh.
That's a great question.
Ooh.
What's the last book I read?
I gotta think about this one for a second here.
It had to have been in high school, because ever since joining college, I've
Yeah,
never done a book report.
it's definitely been since high school.
There was a book that I was supposed to read here in college, which I haven't returned.
I honestly, I think the last book I read was in 11th grade for Chalice's class. And I literally think it was for a book report. And I believe it was The Last Sniper. Or American Sniper. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, that's a while ago. I should probably read more, but...
The only book that I kind of remember reading the last time I read a book, like a full book, was Lord of the Flies.
Yeah. Damn.
Like, that's all I remember.
You know, I do have at home all the Game of Thrones books that have come out so far. I really want to read them, but I'm not a big reader.
I know.
I feel like if I
had
like an audiobook, I would love it.
Yeah.
I would love it.
Since my job at like my golf course requires me to like do a lot of monotonous work and like I'm able to like I could actually like find an audiobook like on YouTube or something, and like I should really do that. I should probably just listen to the Harry Potter books and just read all the books.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
Read all the listen to all the books.
Yeah, I mean any series.
Because literally, I can go through 3 hours of a book a day.
I mean, you could read Lord of the Rings.
First job of the day in Lord of the Rings as well.
Like there's a bunch of them.
If I want to do Game of Thrones, I can do Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So. All right. Next.
Good question.
Yeah, good question. All right. What is your worst habit? Mine, and people, you're not going to be able to see it, but biting my nails. I bite them down to the literal nub.
I was literally looking at like both these nails.
Like
during the show and going, I should bite these off.
I mean, quite literally, look at my nails, just my thumbs, okay, right, and then look at my pinkies. Look at my pinkies.
Yeah. I will say I'm the same, biting my nails, and I should not be. I'm literally been told by my orthodontist to not do that because of my Invisalign.
Yeah.
Without them, it will fuck up my teeth. I still do it anyway. I can't help it. I'm sorry. It bothers me. It's bothering me right now. Like, I actually want to chew off these two right now because of how long they are. At least to me, anyway. So, yeah, I will say my worst habit. Chewing my nails.
It's another good question. That's
a great question.
It's something I don't like to admit,
easy answer and something that like everyone will agree with. A lot of people will agree with. But it's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
All right, next question. What are the top 3 sports movies? I guess in our opinion.
Interesting. Top 3 sports movies. A League of Their Own is up there.
It really is. Like
I really think that's a top 3.
I love that movie. It's
so
good.
I really do think that's a top 3.
That's a top 3 for me as well.
Man, I'm just trying to go through. You know, I think Happy Gilmore is a top 3 sports movie.
Yeah.
Golf doesn't get it, right? But what Adam Sandler was able to do for the sport of golf.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say that's a top 3 sports movie.
Yeah.
To round out my 3, I don't know. I feel like I have to say Field of Dreams, just for the importance of it.
I'm the same. I'll absolutely agree with you. I think Field of Dreams is on my top 3 as well, just because it literally makes my dad cry at the end of every movie.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of people cry at the end of the movie.
It does.
It does.
You know, so if I was to say that, you know, Happy Gilmore wasn't a top 3 sports movie, right? I would say The Replacements.
Really?
I love Keanu Reeves, right? And it's like one of the only football movies out there. Like there's a couple other like documentary, like the Kurt Warner movie, right? Longest Yard.
That's not a documentary. It's a regular movie.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like The Replacements is probably the best football movie in my opinion.
So
no, I'm sorry, Rudy.
Oh, Rudy.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a top 3 sports movie.
My dad will agree with you as well. He loves Rudy. It's probably.
Oh yeah, that's a top 3.
Definitely his favorite football movie of all time. I will absolutely say League of Their Own is definitely a top 3. I will say, I loved Miracle on Ice. There are a lot that I will point out that you will be like, why didn't I think of that? Miracle on Ice over Happy Gilmore, in my opinion. I love Happy Gilmore just because of how funny it was, and yeah, it like made golf cool.
Dude,
But like,
honestly,
well,
I feel
Miracle on
like,
Ice is a great
dude,
movie.
oh my
It's such
god,
an uplifting
how
movie.
could I forget
How can you
about that?
forget? There's a lot of movies
I
that
honestly,
we'll
I
forget.
feel like that is the best sports movie because it's such an important thing in history, like for sports history,
It's
right?
based on a true story. It really
It's
happened.
based on a true story, right? And it like that team did so much for like the Olympics, for at the NHL,
Just the fact that
just
they were just a bunch of college kids, basically
literally,
prospects,
literally.
and they won the whole. They
Oh
won gold.
man, and it was like
They
it was
beat
during
Soviet Union.
during the Cold War, right? Russia versus U.S. came down to that, in the semifinal game, right? They got knocked out like 10-0 in a provisional game, in a whatever, I don't know, preseason game, I guess,
Yeah,
for the.
it's like a
But
pre-mineral. Yeah.
yeah, whoa, man, Miracle. Oh my
I need to
god,
watch that movie.
Miracle
again.
on Ice.
And what was the other one that you said?
League of Their Own, Happy Gilmore, and I did say
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams is definitely up there as well for me.
So my top three: Miracle on Ice, A League of Their Own, Field of Dreams.
Yeah, I will say same thing with me. Miracle on Ice, League of Their Own, Field of Dreams.
Yeah, wow, I'm so happy you said I'm gonna watch that movie tonight.
I want. Yeah, it's such a good movie, man.
It really is. I haven't seen it in a really long time.
Like it's
too.
such an uplifting story, and the fact that it was true, it really happened.
It's great. All right.
Great question, actually.
Yes. Next question. Who is your favorite athlete? Ooh, that's a good question too. Oof. Now, all time Derek Jeter. It was like my hero growing up, right? That's a good one. Can we do active players?
We could do both. We can like for me, it's David Wright.
Yeah.
As my number one all time favorite athlete, just because of he was such a great ball player and he was a class act. Same thing with Jeter, class act, great baseball player. They were both leaders. They both showed what it took to be a leader in a area like New York.
Yeah.
To be able to not succumb to the media and just the whole craziness of being a New York ball player.
Yeah.
Wright and Jeter were.
Yeah, I mean they were when baseball was really big in New York years ago. Those were the two headlines.
Yep.
Those were the two guys.
Yep.
It's good. I would say active. I feel like I'm torn between two. DeGrom is no longer my favorite player. I feel like he has digressed, and I hate being like, yeah, my favorite player's always hurt. I hate that. I tell you what, someone I really fell in love with last year was Julio. J-Rod. Julio Rodriguez. I really fell in love with him last year. But
No, like, we're not being biased just because it's baseball. Like, it's sports athlete. Like, just in general. It could be anybody. But
It could be anybody. But
when we know that we look forward to seeing really every day.
Yeah.
We're, that's where we're putting it at.
Yeah, I would definitely say that my favorite player would be from baseball. Just because I get to see more of them.
Yep.
And I get more fill of them. Julio, I would say, is probably my favorite player now. I really like it might change this year, but my next favorite player is Lindor, and he's a Met, and I love him. He's great from both sides of the plate. He's got a fantastic glove, and he's a leader.
Mm-hmm.
He is a leader.
Yep.
And I really do. I see like the captain-esque in him, like I do in Wright and Jeter.
Yeah.
I do.
Same.
I mean, he's the captain of the Puerto Rico team. I mean,
given
there's other guys on that team who could be, but I mean, he's the captain.
If there's going to be another captain for the New York Mets after David Wright, it's going to be Lindor.
Yeah,
As long as he stays on the contract that he's at, like 4 or 5 years from now, maybe even less, he will become the next captain for the New York Mets.
Agreed.
For me, favorite athlete of all time, David Wright, obviously. But currently, right now, Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
He is, and I'm not even saying just because he's a baseball player. It's literally he is an athlete. He can hit. He can pitch. Who else can do that in the league right now? I'm sorry. Who else can do that in the league
Look,
right now? Put up numbers like he can with
okay.
a sub-2.5 ERA and win it and strike out as many people as he has on a fifth day, and then hit every single day and hit home runs and hit for average.
I don't know if we really talked about it on the show, but when MLB came out with their top 100 and they came out with the top 10, we were hesitant over Judge being over Trout, but there was no discussion. There's no discussion. Ohtani is the best player in the MLB.
Yeah.
Nobody
can do what he can do.
Nobody can go pitch and be a Cy Young winner and also be a MVP kind of caliber bat.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. You can't have a guy that wins Cy Young and a batting title in the same year.
No.
And he could do it.
Yeah.
He could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't see guys like Trey Turner.
And I feel like if Babe Ruth was to be in the game now, I still feel like nobody does it better than Ohtani. Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody.
It was a different era back then because you can get away with being
the dead
his
ball
physique
era
and doing as well.
Yeah.
Because it didn't have like all the workout regimens that we have today. The standards of cookie cutter type baseball players nowadays. And so it was a different era, and I'll absolutely say Babe Ruth was the best of his era.
Yes.
Absolutely, the best player.
Yes.
He was the first best player of baseball.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The first best one to ever step foot on a baseball diamond.
Absolutely. I 100% agree.
Mm-hmm.
But no doubt, Ohtani is the best player in baseball. Come at me.
All right. Next question. Yeah, me, right?
Yep.
Okay. What sport do you think should be getting as much attention as baseball and football? Hockey.
Yeah, I mean that's.
People really should give hockey a chance.
That's
It's such a good sport. It really is.
I really would agree with that, but it's hard to say that there's not a lot of people that really give it attention, because it really does get attention. But college football.
I think college football gets more attention than hockey.
I mean, it does, but I still think that it should get more. But I would definitely agree, though. I think that hockey's probably the concise answer there. I just think so,
and to back it up, watch an ESPN broadcast of hockey. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That's true. And excuse my French, they don't know what they're talking about.
It's true. Really... The only time that you really get any sort of truth out of ESPN when it talks about hockey is when they have an analyst on.
Now, watch SportsCenter talk about hockey. Oh my god, it is so horrendously bad. They have no idea. They don't even care. They don't want to talk about it. It's so bad. So that's one gripe that I could say, that hockey should get way more attention than it does now. Like, people should invest in it. I think they should. It's such a fun sport to watch. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. It took me about a year to really understand the game fully.
If you really hockey games are always shorter than football and baseball games.
Yeah, they're always 2.5 hours.
Right, they're shorter time period. There's less fans in the stands.
Fun.
And you get
and it's the only sport where you're allowed to fight.
You get consistent action because unless there's a TV timeout or there's the break in the periods, right? It's always bang, 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 bang. Things are always taking place. Things are always happening. Yep. People are always moving. Mm-hmm. I agree, 100%. All right.
Down to our last two, and then
no, I have. Well, you have only one left. I have two. This is my second. Yes, this is the last question. I was told to read this question last. Okay. What video game would you like to be put into? That is a great question.
I'm sorry, I'm confused.
What video game would you like to be put into? Like yourself.
Oh!
Matt will be in that game.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's a good question.
Holy crap.
And that's gonna... that's a really good question.
It's a really good question, because there's a lot of games that
there's a lot of games.
If I could, show people, look, I'm in the game, legitimately, I didn't do it myself. I'm actually in the game. Or rather, is this question asking, what video game would you want to go into? You, as a person, legitimately physically going into a video game.
I'm okay. If I go into any video game, it better be Sword Art Online. SAO. Einkrad. Okay? Regardless of that fact.
I would say that's one I would like to go into as well.
Regardless, it's not an actual game, right?
Yeah.
It's off of an anime, but it is a game in an anime.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, you really didn't play it all, but if I was maybe, the main guy in Cyberpunk, like the main guy that you played, or, it's tough. It is really tough to say. Man. Maybe like a Call of Duty operator. Maybe like a Fortnite skin.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's tough. It's a tough question.
It really is.
It would really have to be one where I really gave it a lot of thought.
I would love to be my brother and be in MLB The Show.
Yeah,
be put into the
but
game.
I would say, with that kind of response, I feel like we can already put ourselves into the game.
Yeah.
Because you have your road to the show, you have your be a pro, whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like you could somewhat put yourself into the game.
But as in other people can play as you without creating you.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
It would be cool. It really would.
In any sport game, football, basketball, hockey.
True.
Any sport game would be awesome to be able to just be put into. And as me actually going into a physical world of a game. I didn't think about it, but Sword Art would be really cool. Hogwarts would also be really cool as well.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, now we're talking.
Right?
Yeah.
That would be
I
sick.
really didn't even think about Hogwarts. That's if you're telling me I could literally become Harry Potter, I'm gonna become Harry Potter.
Right? That would be sick. Just the open world aspect and it's just a fantasy kind of thing.
Yeah, good question.
Really cool. Very good question.
Got a lot of good questions this week.
Yes. So I'm reading my last question.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
All right. My last question here that I have for us is: what is something you will never do twice?
Okay. Damn. So stream appropriate.
Something that you would never do twice. Half pipe and splash. No. No. Or any ride, roller coasters. I've done it. Never do it again. I'll never do it twice. Never. You'll never get me to do it. I've done it. I don't like it. Never do it. Sorry. I literally passed out on roller coasters at Disney World. There's physical pictures I have of myself passed out on the ride.
I'm not laughing about that, man.
I will never. No. Never again. Never twice.
Okay. So, my answer. I wouldn't take back anything for the world. But there ain't any chance in hell I'd ever join the Navy again. Ever. Look, if I knew that I was going to find the love of my life, in the Navy, cool. I would have still joined the Navy. But if I would have known what the Navy was when I joined, there ain't no chance I was signing papers. Mm-hmm. No chance.
Another one will be to volunteer to catch on a baseball team. Because I did that in high school. I'll never do that again. I'll never catch everyone again.
I got one that'll make you laugh. I will never voluntarily look away from Nick when he has a hockey puck and a hockey stick in his hands. I will never turn my back from him again. I will never turn my head. My eyes are on him. That's good.
And our old house would agree with you. I wonder if they fixed that. They had to have. They revamped that whole house. They revamped the whole house there.
Yeah.
They really did.
Oh man.
All right, so this is the last of your questions,
This is the last of our questions.
All right, and this is for the crowd right here, right?
Yes, okay. This is the last of our questions to each other. We have one more question for the audience, and if you even want to respond to this one, feel free. Mm-hmm. The last question of the day. Well, we got a long one here. Okay. Would you do the Hot Ones segment and try the Hot Ones Junior, which is 3 hot wings? Then, while answering Ashley's outrageous random questions. So, would we be willing to do a Hot Ones challenge while answering these questions.
Hell yeah, I'd do that.
I mean, hell yeah, I would do it, but I'd probably cry afterwards.
I mean...
And we're probably going to have to be at my house because the bathroom's going to get blown up.
I would do that. That sounds like fun.
It does. It does sound like fun. I've always watched the show, I think for probably
I would love to go on Hot Ones.
Yeah,
anyway,
honestly,
I don't care.
I really would.
I'll try the hottest hot sauce in the world. I don't care.
Yeah, I'll be Jenna Ortega. Oh my god, this is fantastic.
I would not be a Jenna Ortega.
Oh my god, this sauce.
I don't have the god tongue like she does.
The Apollo sauce is. Oh my god, it's fantastic.
She literally ate it and went like,
"Oh, this is really.
Wow, this is really good." And then
what?
Like, what?
What?
Even though like 3 hot sauce prior, she was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's a little." But,
yeah,
like,
well, I mean, on
the
the
hottest one,
on the,
yeah, that's good.
I mean, on I believe, shoot, I forget what they. No, I think Apollo is the one.
That's the hottest one.
That's like the second to last one where they think it's the hot, like, or no, it's the bomb. The bomb.
Yeah.
She was like, okay, no, it's a little too much. But hey, she did a great job. All right.
I love that woman.
Shout out Jenna Ortega. All right. So we've come to the end of our questions. Now, it is time for your input. Now, not like it wasn't your time for input. The hour and 40 minutes before this. But here we go. The question, number 11, to the audience. If you could produce a Patronus charm, what would yours be?
Now, to the people who don't know what that is, there's a spell in the Harry Potter universe where you literally produce light out of your wand, and it will be in the shape of, like, your spirit animal. It's basically what that is, to put it in a...
Yes.
Lack of a better term. So, as you guys answer, what would be your Patronus? What animal would you produce of light out of your wand in the Harry Potter world? I mean, I don't know. Last time I did it, mine was a dolphin. That was a little weird.
All right. I'd be happy with a dolphin.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
You know what I got on my last one?
What'd you get?
A gray squirrel.
A gray squirrel.
Why'd it have to be gray?
There's no color other than the light of the Patronus charm produces, so...
But to answer that, though, my first Pottermore, quiz that I did, my house test that I did, my Patronus was a Newfoundland. I think that really, I really like that.
Yeah, me too.
I really missed it when I ended up getting a new one because I was like, but yeah, you can't change your Patronus once you take the test and you take your Patronus test. But I would say Newfoundland, dog.
I would agree. Probably like a dog of some kind, like a black lab. I would absolutely love. I also would love to have a toucan.
Ooh,
toucans are cool. Toucans are cool.
Now, I'm going to go a little USA on you. An eagle.
An eagle. That's a cool one.
You just... what are they? A vulture.
Vulture.
Have the wings spread out. Clapping that Patronus charm, in the wind and having a blow.
Yeah, I'm the same with, like, the toucan because, like, it flying in the Patronus charm would be kind of cool looking. A funny one that I would love to have as a Patronus. Come here.
Capybara.
Capybara would be funny.
Capybara.
Let's get a capybara. Patronus show.
Papa Chuck
says Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's cool.
Hey, that'd be dope. Now I want to ask a follow-up question to that. How big would this T-Rex be? Because that's in a Patronus charm, they're usually not that.
They're usually not life size.
They're usually not life size. So would you want it to be somewhat life size, or
I would say probably.
Or would you want it to be like a raptor size?
I would say like kind of bigger than you.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Like, because Especially in the third book when Harry uses his Patronus charm against the Dementors. That would be sick.
Yeah.
To have
Yeah.
like a T-Rex scaring away the Dementors. That would be sick. I would absolutely agree.
Yeah, that is a good one.
That's a good one.
So, Mrs. Clutch, what would yours be? Oh, you'd have a goat.
It's a goat.
Yeah. Okay. What kind of goat? All right.
There are different types of goats.
You know, because I haven't asked you this particular question before. Like a large dog in size. Okay. Now I like that answer. I like that answer.
I would say like if I were to have like a T-Rex bigger than me, probably like like 10 feet.
If you could, have you seen Jurassic World?
Mm.
You know, Chris Pratt, the raptors that he trains.
Yeah.
I feel like I would want something like that.
Yeah,
size.
something like that size.
Right.
Yes.
You know,
just a little bigger than me.
Yeah.
I could even
Yeah.
for a Rex, I could go for 10 feet. Like that's, I could go for something like that.
Yeah. Now a goat. So now let me guess. Pygmy goat. No. Hill goat. Yeah, see what I say.
Pygmy goat.
Pygmy goat.
Pygmy.
How well do I know my way? But small and fat. Hey, that is fair. Okay, nice and cute. And you would be known as the goat.
Small and fat.
Well, hey, I appreciate everybody coming down and
very aggressively headbutting of their favorites.
That'd be good. But hey, thank you for your inputs in the chat. You know, hey, if you're watching this on, the replay, right, and this isn't live, please comment your answers. I want to see your answers. I want to see your input, because there could be stories behind all these, and they might be something that we might want to talk about on the show, right? And so please leave your input. We want to see you guys interact in the chat, and we love the ones who do.
Yep.
You know who you are. We love you. And I mean, honestly, man, I really do. I love this segment. The questions are usually real good, and they get your mind going, and
it always does excite me to.
It does
do those questions,
and I like that. I really do like the fact that she added sports ones into it.
Yeah,
and because it gives a little bit.
It's genuine, someone who doesn't follow sports like we do, to ask us people who watch sports. It's good. I like it a lot. I really do.
It's really good. I mean, I'm so guys. I love doing this podcast. So, we gonna save a segment for next episode? Or are we gonna do an episode? Or are we gonna do another segment here?
I think we can save it for the next episode. We're climbing on 2 hours now.
Yeah.
We just reached an hour and 50. We honestly thought that our topics today wouldn't be as long as they were.
We really didn't.
Went
but
pretty in depth.
We went really in depth with the standings for baseball.
With the standings, yeah.
But
we talked about baseball a little longer than we thought we would.
I'm perfectly okay with that because we were gonna have to do it eventually, right?
Yeah.
But
I'm very excited about our next segment that will be on the next episode
of Rank This. I mean, you want to show them a sneak preview? I mean,
sneak preview of Rank This. It will be the next sports that we'll be doing of our logo tier list, and it will be the NHL.
Hockey logos.
Now, like we said, we're going to save this for our next episode because we're climbing on 2 hours, and honestly, if we did this, we'd be here for another 45 minutes.
Yes.
So I will absolutely say we'll not rush this for now, and we will pick this up in the next episode so that we can be more in-depth and give respect to the game of hockey.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I will absolutely say
so before we get to our last topic then, a little breaking NFL news. The former Patriots running back Damian Harris has signed a deal with the Buffalo Bills.
Oh boy.
So they have a running back now, and
oh boy,
in the same division as the Patriots. Later, after the draft, we'll go ahead and do our NFL predictions, standing wise, but man, it is really not looking good for the Patriots this season. It is really not looking good. All right, so On to our final topic of the day, and it's something that, we're going to be able to play this week, because it comes out Monday. But MLB The Show 23 releases Monday the 30th. Now, there is I'm sorry, is it actually the 30th on Monday? I might be mistaken on that one.
The 30th of March. It's on a Thursday.
Oh, okay. So, what are we saying? The 28th of March, MLB The Show 23 comes out, and it will feature Jazz Chisholm Jr. on the cover. And I tell you what, early access starts Friday. Mm-hmm. I thought it started today or yesterday. No, today. Very depressing because I was very ready to stay up all night last night and play until my friend here gave me the sad news.
Mm-hmm. Sad and unfortunate official news.
Yes. But there's a lot of things that are coming into the game, this year. So what would you say is one or two of your things that you're really looking forward to coming to the game?
Can you even see him? Well, I mean, if he move a little bit, there's a guy right about there.
Hold on.
Or up there by the name of David Wright. He is going to be finally back in MLB The Show.
Yes, he will be. And to follow that, Derek Jeter will finally be in the game. Mm-hmm. So not one, but two of the best captains for both teams will finally be in the game again.
Hell yeah.
And then I got to ask you, when was the last time you think they were in the game? Last season they played?
Probably, yeah, because they had the likeness for Wright and Jeter when they last played. Wright's last season was 2018, and I'm pretty sure they had a 2007 card in 2018. And that was it. That was the last time we saw David Wright. And for Jeter, his last game was MLB 14 to show. Diamond Dynasty really didn't kick up.
They didn't.
Realistically, Jeter hasn't really had any chance to be in Diamond Dynasty because at the time it wasn't big yet.
And I tell you what, coming from, look, we just said earlier, those are our two favorite players of all time, right? Being able to play as those guys in the show this year, believe me, they're dropping a Derek Jeter, some low card diamond, right, at the start of game. Yep. It's going to be free in the show shop. That might be my shortstop for a long period of time.
Same.
I think that he will probably be, at least Derek Jeter will always be on my team. Mm-hmm. For some way or the other. He will always be on my roster.
I will agree.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be able to play with my hero, right? And finally.
And little did I know it, but my hero as well, David Wright.
Yeah.
I'd be able to play with him as well. Now,
we talked about this beforehand with Tony the last time he came on the show, but ranked co-op isn't another thing that's coming to the game. Diamond Dynasty, and
ranked co-op. It means something.
It really does. There's gonna be incentive to play co-op.
There's awards now. You can actually win stuff just by playing that with your friends.
I would say that is, besides Jeter, right? There's nothing that can top me being excited for Jeter, right? But I will say that ranked co-op coming into the game, it's almost as exciting as online franchise, if that would have come out.
It's the closest thing to a really online franchise.
It really is. It really is. Because you get to play with your friends, at least.
You get to play with your friends, and you have incentives. You have a reason to play.
Yeah, you can get rewards. And for the people like the three of us, me, you, and Tony, our friend Slow Mo 21, he's still debating whether or not he's going to get the game or not. But the three of us, we're pretty much going to have the same ranking every time we play because we play with each other.
Yep.
So I am stoked. I hope Friday we're all able to get on and actually play a game of ranked co-op and maybe a few. But I'm just really excited to get back into the grind,
I'm so excited. Well, obviously the first thing I'm going to do is the always tradition that I do with every sports game that I play is to play a CPU game and play now with my favorite team. That will be number one, and then Diamond Dynasty.
Yeah, I'm a little different. They give you 30,000 stubs, right, for the edition that we ended up getting. 20 show packs. Could you practically end up making 50 packs? Could you end up probably buying 50 packs?
Yeah, you could.
in
Like
total,
30.
like have about 50 packs in total you could open on the start with those 30K. You know,
30 or 40. You could
one
get 50.
now I'll say this, right? And I'm almost positive it will not change, but I really wish that the marketplace, the stock system, as we like to call it, right,
Stunks.
could change, because some of those higher cards are people. The first person that gets them tries to sell them for 1 million stubs. That's just literally as high as you can go in the game for a sell, right, or for a buy, and people don't have that unless you're a pro streamer who do nothing but open packs and play MLB The Show.
Spend their money on packs or stubs literally every day.
Unless because, and there's going to be people at the start of game that spend $300, $400, $500. There's going to be some people that spend $1,000 right off the bat just on stubs.
There are people that are that crazy,
and
they will do it.
Like if you're
not one of those people.
If you're streaming, okay, and you're a big streamer, right? One of the bigger streamers for that game on whatever platform, I could understand you doing some portion of that. Maybe not the grand, but maybe $500. Spend it, you get it back in subs and donations and stuff like that.
Well, some of those guys are literally partnered with the show.
That's
with
true.
San Diego Studios, so they will get personal packs from the developers of the game.
That's true, and they also no one has actually said it's a true thing, but I feel like that the games that are sold to some creators, it is like, I feel like there's a different strand of code that there's a 1 in 10 chance at a diamond, or there's a 1 in 20 chance at a diamond, but there's a 1 in 10 chance at a 90 plus diamond, right? Like, obviously those are the guys that are going to be better at the game, right? And those are guys that are going to get the better luck because they play the game and the game favors them because they bring revenue to their game. But I don't know, I feel like packs last year really hurt me. I probably spent, and this is in-game currency, I probably spent about 500,000 stubs last year on just 50 packs, on just packs, right? And got hardly anything, right? I pulled the best player in the game, right? I practically pulled everybody that I needed to. I bought, more of the harder cards to come by.
Yeah, and I'll be doing the same this year with the collections. I'll absolutely try to collect every single live series player that you can get in the game.
Absolutely. That's kind of why I want to get 50 packs at the start of the game, just to kind of
so you can get
a good start on collections, because you're not going to be able to sell those guys because most of them you're going to be getting for the first time.
No, the best you're going to do is quick sell. And
after you get 50 packs, you finally might be able to start quick selling some people. Yeah. You finally might be able to start making some stubs back. Mm-hmm. But I would definitely like the pack odds to increase. It really hurt last year. And what were they? The chase packs? Mm-hmm. They screwed them up last year. I'm sorry. If you got a chase pack, there's got to be like a 1 in 3 chance of getting the card that is the chase.
Literally.
And there's got to be like 2 or 3 guys that are the sub chase, right?
Who are like
that
almost as good.
That you get at least one of them every time you open the chase pack.
Yeah.
Because, I'm sorry, if I get a chase 1 pack, or I'm sorry, if I get a chase 3 pack, right, in last year's game, mm-hmm. I could have gotten all-star guys, face of the franchise guys. I did not care for those guys. You had a whole program about them, right? Why would you give me another opportunity unless you just made those packs available, right? If you give me it, like literally, you buy a 50 pack, you get a chase pack.
Mm-hmm. It's random. It's literally random.
And it's literally random.
It's random diamonds. Literally.
The regular packs, right? The regular packs, okay, mm-hmm. be random.
Yeah.
Don't give me Mike Trout in my first 10 packs, mm-hmm. right? But, make it a little bit better, though. I expect my big thing was with the chase packs, because I can't tell you how many chase packs. I said I spent probably 500,000 stubs last year on packs, right? And opening those, getting chase packs. I can't tell you. I can't count on my hands how many golds I got, right, from a chase pack. It's got to change.
Yep.
Got to change.
I agree.
Got to change. Agree. But ecstatic to play it.
I'm so excited.
I am ecstatic to play it.
I'm so excited for Thursday night, really.
Another thing I'm really excited for, I'm really excited to see what they do with the rosters.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see who they put, like, young talent-wise on, like, an actual live series card.
I can't wait to see when they put Yoshida in them Dynasty.
I know, right?
I want to play as Matsutaka Yoshida,
I also want to play as the new Mets pitcher, right? Senga. But it's just going to come in.
I want to see where they're going to place my other half.
Yeah. I really hope he's in the show. I just hope that he's in Diamond Dynasty. You give him a 55 card, I could not care. He will be my starting pitcher.
You will be parallel 5.
We will be the 5 people. There will be 5 people that get him parallel 5. There's gonna be 4 of us, 4 of our friends that are doing it. Like,
dude, you know how funny that would be?
I know.
If he's a 55 overall card in the game, or like a 60,
and we parallel 5 him.
And we parallel 5 him, we're like the only 4 people in the entire world.
I would do it.
That would be a goal of mine. If that's the case, that's gonna happen.
Last year was your 70 overall Jason Bay.
It was my 72 overall Jason Bay.
That would be mine.
And 40. Like 8 overall or 40, 42 overall Mickey Janis. Which I never actually fulfilled that because I deleted 22 this year.
Hey, is what it is.
I don't give a shit anymore. I'm waiting for 23. I'm just going back to 20 for now. I'm literally playing 20 the show until 23 comes out.
Ready for the grind.
Seriously.
I'm just ready for the grind, my friend.
Oh, I love baseball. Be able to actually play something tangible like in a video game. That's why video games are great. That's why they're great. Older people would look at us and go like, "What's the point?"
Yeah.
It's something tangible. Would you rather just sit there and watch TV?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or do something tangible?
Would you rather sit there and watch TikToks? I mean,
it's something tangible and it's a real world thing.
Yeah.
That we can keep track of and do. Because unfortunately, like guys like us who are at the point where we can't really play the sport anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's exciting to be able to do so. Even if it's in a game. Mm-hmm. Well, my friend, it's been another lovely Monday.
Absolutely.
This was another great show. Mm-hmm. I can't thank you all for those who did show up and those who will show up when this is not live.
Yep.
The ones who stick around to the end, thank you. We appreciate you. We love you for really just showing appreciation. Mm-hmm. We can't be grateful enough. Any final words, my friend?
I have to pee.
I have to pee. I thought about doing it before the show, but
honestly, yeah. If we were going to do right this, I was going to go like, let's do BRB screen.
Yeah, we're going to go back. We'll be right back for a minute. But no, hey, thank you all for showing up to another wonderful and the last winter installment of Gabagalooza, the variety podcast. Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you on the next one. You better be good!